Today's January 9th. No, it's not. It's January 8th. And it's my last day of Christmas break. So I go back to work tomorrow. But I had 2 weeks off, a little over 2 weeks off. I spent the break crocheting and editing videos and writing and drawing and traveling. So I went to Asturias for 4 days, to Oviedo specifically. And I was gonna do an unpacking video because I could only bring a personal item on the plane, so I had like a small backpack, but I waited too long and I just had to unpack and get everything organized. So instead I'm gonna do a what I bought in Oviedo video because I had a really small amount of space to bring things home, and so I bought only like really small things. There were some like general like souvenir things I bought. Now usually I buy a postcard for every location I go to, but at the shop that I went to in Oviedo, we went on the first day and I didn't see any postcards that I liked, and I thought about just buying a random one, but I was like, nah, I don't really want to have just like a random postcard that I don't think is pretty. So I'll just look at a different shop later. And then I forgot, so I never did get a postcard. But at that shop, I did get a couple things. I haven't unwrapped them yet. First thing I got was this Mafalda pin. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, Mafalda, if you don't know, is a cartoon from Argentina, and I don't really know that much about the cartoon, just that it's really, really popular. And for some reason, it's also really, really popular in Spain, but specifically in Asturias. Like, they're obsessed with Mafalda in Asturias, and they have this like statue of her, of the character Mafalda from the cartoon, in the park, and it's like a famous like landmark, and tourists go to take pictures of it and stuff. I didn't even know about it until I got there, and I just like stumbled upon it. We weren't even looking for it. We just happened to see like the Mafalda statue, and we're like, oh, what's that about? And then I was looking at a list of things to do in Asturias like later that day, and one of them said visit the Mafalda statue, and I was like, well, check, done that. And so I got this Mafalda pin because I think that's cool, and I like to put pins on my jean jacket, which I don't really wear my jean jacket that much, but I'm trying to like make it cool and like embroider it and like put pins and things on it, which I am doing, which I like doing, but I barely ever actually wear it to show people, so it's more of kind of like an art piece that I hang in my closet. So that'll go on my jacket eventually. And the other thing I got from that shop was a magnet. And this is the magnet that I got. So it says Oviedo on it, and it has a picture of the cathedral and another statue. Oviedo is famous for statues in general. It's not just Mafalda, like they have statues all over the city. And then it just has some like landmarks on the magnet, like the Ayuntamiento, which is like the town hall, but it's like this really big pretty building. So I guess, I don't know, maybe people go see that. I just happened to walk past it. And then like some other things like the theater, which I also saw, and yeah. So that's what I got there. Other than postcards, I always get magnets when I go somewhere. Postcards and magnets are my usual things. And I usually also get a magnet for my grandma because I don't know why, that's just what we've been doing our whole lives. Like whenever anyone of my cousins or aunts or uncles or anyone goes somewhere, we get a magnet for my grandma to put on her fridge. But I decided not to do that because I don't know if she really likes her magnet collection that much. But then I went to a Christmas market. They were still having, it was after Christmas when we went. We arrived on December 27th. And so it was like just after Christmas, but the Christmas market was still alive and thriving. And so I went to this stall with a lot of like cute watercolors, and I liked a lot of her stuff, but I don't know why, but like this penguin just drew me the most. So instead of a postcard, I got this just little, you know, card from a watercolor artist. And they had a zodiac sign, so I got mine, which is Virgo. She also had these really cute cats for just like a picture of a cat, not like a zodiac thing. I kind of wish I got one of those too, but it's okay. I was also trying not to spend a lot of money. I'm going on another trip this month on the 19th to Fuerteventura, which is a different island. So I live in the Canary Islands. I live on Gran Canaria, and Fuerteventura is the next door island, so we're gonna take the ferry there. So anyway, I had to save money for my other trips, and I'm also going on a trip to Mexico this summer for 2 weeks. So we're trying for small souvenirs and we're trying for cheap souvenirs. And then the last thing I got, also at the Christmas market, was this ring. So one thing about Asturias is people don't speak as much English, which is great for me because I find it pretty annoying when people speak to me in English and assume I don't speak Spanish, because like what would I be doing in Spain if I didn't speak any Spanish? Although I know people do that a lot, but not me. Anyways, I'm not like other tourists. No, so in Las Palmas where I live, like if I ever go to a restaurant or to a store or anything, people usually speak English to me and they only switch over to Spanish. Like sometimes they refuse to switch over to Spanish at all. If like I answer them in Spanish, they just keep speaking in English. Or sometimes they'll switch over once they realize I can understand Spanish. But in Asturias, like nobody does that. Like nobody speaks English to you, which I found refreshing. But anyway, the lady at the jewelry stall was speaking to me in Spanish, and she's like, that ring está hecho de acero. And I was like, ¿cómo? And she's like, acero. Like she's saying this ring is made of acero. I don't know what that is. So I was just like, oh, vale, I see, of course. And so I bought it. And then I looked it up as I was walking away. And apparently that means steel. I know some of my metals. I know gold and silver and iron. I did not know steel. Acero or aceno, if depending on your accent. Good to know. And that is all that I got as far as like souvenirs. We have such good like food in Asturias. So one thing that everyone told me I had to try before I went to Asturias was cachopo, which is traditionally it's with beef or like steak, but you can, there's also like different variations on it. You can get it with pork or you can get it with chicken or whatever. I got it with chicken because I don't really eat red meat much. And so it was chicken filled with cheese and ham. So it's basically like chicken cordon bleu, but again, traditionally it's made with steak. And it's really, really good. And they gave me such a huge piece at the restaurant. Like I don't even think I ate half of it. It was so good, but it was so much. He gave me like a container to go, which is also unusual in Spain. Usually like you won't get a container to go. Like this restaurant had them because they knew that their portion sizes are absurd. And I like carried it around for the rest of the day. And then I eventually ate it when I got back to the hotel because we didn't have a fridge. So I was like, well, it's either eat it or throw it away. So I guess I'll eat it. And we didn't have a microwave either, so I ate it cold, but it was still really good. But definitely much better if it's warm. Definitely try to finish it at the restaurant if you can. So the other thing I had to try was fabada, which is like a bean stew with chorizo, like blood sausage, and then pork. And it's just like really warm and comforting. And I had it on like a really cold, rainy day. And in the north of Spain, it's really like rainy, sort of dreary, and a little bit colder. So it's like really nice to have just like a warm, filling stew. I liked that a lot. Then we had some really good pastry. We went to this famous bakery to try carballones, which are the traditional pastry of Asturias. And that was fine. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't my favorite. It didn't have a ton of flavor, but had a really good texture, and it was pretty pleasant to bite into, but it just didn't taste like anything really. It was just like vaguely sweet. But then we went to a different bakery on our last day, and I got a piece of cheesecake, which was, I'm like not even kidding, probably the best cheesecake I've ever had in my life. And I also got this like chocolate tart that was also really, really good. I'm officially a fan of Asturias, of the food, of Oviedo. I would love to go back there. Me and Cynthia were literally walking around. We were like, should we move here? That's all. Goodbye.